Today, let's talk about hate and name-calling, because hate is just one of the ways that names are called. And name-calling results when you deal with someone about Islam and you say something they don't like and they go, I don't want to hear you, so what I'll do is I'll call you a hater, a bigot, an Islamophobe. Therefore, you're evil, you're immoral, and I don't have to listen to you. So let's take this on directly. Let's take on hate about Islam, because let me be clear, I do hate Islam. I hate a doctrine that is found in the Quran, Allah, the Sirah, Muhammad's biography, the Hadith, his traditions. I hate the Islam that is found in that. Notice I did not say that I hate Muslims, but I do hate the ideology of Islam. And let's talk about why. Let's stay with family. For instance, let's go with wife beating. Let me be clear before I start that I hate wife beating, but surprisingly enough, Allah does not hate wife beating. Let's see what Allah said. In the Quran, 4, that's chapter 4, called Women, 34, there's a verse. Men have authority over women because Allah has made the one superior to the other, and because they spend their wealth to maintain them. Good women are obedient. They guard their unseen parts because Allah has guarded them. As those for whom you fear disobedience, admonish them and send them to their beds apart, and beat them. If they obey, take no further action against them. Surely God is Most High. As an aside here, let me say that I sometimes am asked, is this a good translation of the Quran? Go to verse 434, and if it says beat them, you're dealing with a good translation in all probability. But if it says lightly beat them or some other fudge, nah, they're trying to tone it down so you'll believe that the Quran is all good. Now then, not only does Allah say you can beat your wife, but Muhammad in the Hadith says as well. There's a Hadith where Muhammad says this, never ask a man why he beats his wife. Is this not approval? Because Muhammad said many things about wife beating. Let me be clear. I hate wife beating, and wife beating is part of Islam. Therefore, I hate Islam. Now let's take another issue, which is even worse than wife beating, the issue of inbreeding. Inbreeding is encouraged in Islam because of Muhammad. It's not found in the Quran, by the way, but it is found with Muhammad's traditions. You see, he married his first cousin, Khadijah. Well, if he married his first cousin, this means that all Muslims from now on out in all parts of the world should also consider marriage within the family, inbreeding, because you see, the Sunnah, this S-U-N-N-A, the path of Muhammad, is Islam. Today, 70% of all Pakistanis are inbred. In Turkey, the amount is about 25%. A rough estimate reveals that half of all the Muslims in the Arab world are inbred. At least 55% of the Pakistani community in Britain is married to a first cousin, and as a result, they have 13 times as many birth defects. British Pakistanis account for about 3% of all births in Britain, but they account for about 30% of all birth defects. Research shows that if one parents are cousins, intelligence goes down 10 to 15 IQ points. The risk of having an IQ lower than 70, which is retarded, increases 400% among children from cousin marriages. It is estimated that a third of all handicapped people in Copenhagen are Muslim. In Denmark, 64% of the Muslim school children are illiterate after 10 years in the Danish school system. So, not only is inbreeding bad in theory, it is bad in practice. And the problem is this. In over 90 verses in the Quran, it says that Muslims are to follow Muhammad in his every action, every word, and every deed. So this means that inbreeding is part of the Sharia, and it cannot be eliminated. So here we have a problem. I hate inbreeding. I hate inbreeding because in some ways it is the worst possible crime in the world, because it creates a new person who will have children, and so on until the end of time. We have the results of inbreeding. I hate inbreeding. I hate wife beating. Therefore, I hate the doctrine of Islam because it supports these two things. Here's what's important about this. We need to react by attacking when we're called names. And by attacking, this is what I've done here. I have embraced the hate, if you will, and shown that a virtuous person hates evil, hates wife-beating, and hates inbreeding. You see, the problem with all this is that the apologists for Islam and Muslims are saying to us, shut up, be silent. We do not want this talked about. Now, who is the virtuous person here? The one who is silent in the face of evil, or the ones who raise up a problem and say, we need to talk about this and deal with this? No. Those who are called the haters have truly the highest ethics. And those who are trying to silence us are doing so in the face of evil. So why don't you become a hater as well, a hater of what is wrong and bad for humanity?